Good evening, lamb chops. Oh my gosh. How are we? I hope good. Hold up. You can't hear the game, can you? Oh, hi! That's interesting. I love that. Um, just noticed the game music's coming out of the computer. Oh, wait, give me a sec. Hold up. Okay, hold up. We got this. Doing good? Good. Good, good, good. Alright, we're just gonna close the game real quick. I'm gonna try and reopen it to see if that puts the music. Don't hear anything. Yeah, don't worry. I think we're gonna fix it. Your eyes hurt? Oh shucks. That sucks, man. Okay. See if this fixes it for us. Sounds like it fixed it. Yeah. Haha. I am the IT department. Why yes, I did fix the sound on my game, yeah. That's why I'm in the Ooh, neat. Idea Factory. Yeah. They got that one artist that does everything for them to do the art, of course. Did Neptunia? I think so. The other one that I played from them that I really like was Amnesia, and I think they've also done Code Realize. I think those are their big ones. Now you can hear it. Good shit. Hell yeah. I'm so smart. Oh my god. Alright, let's see. I just want to try and see, because I don't like it when you can see my cursor for these ones. Can I hide cursor? Yes, I can. Beautiful. Perfect. Okay. Yeah! Oh. Yeah! Alright, so we're gonna be doing Hakuoki. Kyoto wins. If my sources are correct, this is the first Hakuoki book. I know previously on the channel we had read the one of the routes in the second book, but it doesn't really matter. We won't be doing the first chapter for Same Demon Daddy again. We will pick somebody else. Who? Don't know. I'm a certified sound engineer, you damn right. I am the smartest sheep. Smart shep. Veep. Sampire. Sampire. Alright, anyway. So we're gonna do new game. I think. Oh shit. No. Use the keyboard to edit the name. Oh, sure thing. Bluma. Yukimura. Okay. The VIP Lampire. Confirm. Bluma. Yes. Alright. I know the first time I read this one. Skip the prologue. Should we? You guys want to watch the prologue? I'm not sure what all happens in the prologue. Bluma looked a little bit different there. Yeah, you know. Yeah, I gotta blend in. It's one of my human disguises. I'm not sure what's all in the prologue. Here, okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab a drink. I should have done that earlier. Oh my god. Whew, okay. Alright, don't know much. Fine with watching it. Alright, we can do it. think we'll be fine doing it. I mean, it's kind of like we're starting completely new again. I know I've read some chapters in this one. I know I've read Demon Daddies and then one of the other guys is. So that's why I have no idea what happens in the prologue. I can't remember. I think I started skipping it after the first route. But we can do it. Why not? Let's go for it. Every time I actually click off the game, it stops. And the music stops. Who the fuck are you? I didn't pick nobody yet. Don't mind? Okay. Well, got it. So you guys can get the whole experience. Was it morning? What happened to me? I attempted to recollect myself. Ah, yeah. Right. All at once, the events of the previous night rushed back to me. This isn't my room. My limbs are snugly bound by tight knots, so all I could do was wriggle around in bed, twisting the blankets around me. Just checked Idea Factory and found amnesia. Just here to listen? Aw, Risu, you are such a good thrall. Oh my goodness. I thought you meant the horror game. Oh, no. Ah. But yeah, no. I remember that was a thing, getting confused back in the day. I yearned for the comfort of my own futon, but the futility of such a thought only forced me to confront the reality of the situation. Oh, the music's a little soft. I'm just gonna smudge it up for you guys. Okay. If only I could wake from this strange nightmare. But I could not. Those men from the night before must have taken me with them, to the headquarters of the Shinsengumi. What will happen to me now? I inhaled deeply, lying down to await my fate. Bald! Bald! There was a moment, then the door slid open, and a kind-looking man stepped in. Oh shit, they talk. I don't have to read their lines. Sick. His smile quirked as he removed my ropes. My wrists, however, were left bound. And you are... Thank you, Inoue. Wait, for a prologue, I'm actually just still confused. My eyes! Think you've been blinded? Oh shit. I nodded curtly and struggled to stand, but my body was sore from being bound all night. Noe treated me with something like courtesy, but it was clear that I was in a lesser position. He must have been able to guess my thoughts. However, he smiled and winked at me. Don't you ever fucking wink at me, first of all. Oh. Even at home, I heard rumors of the vicious Shinsengumi and that they were unflattering. It was hard to imagine that these people in charge of such an organization were gentlemen. Despite Inoe's reassurances, it was difficult for me to trust what I was hearing as accurate. Excuse me. Sumimasen! I knew that one. Inoue led me to the room and opened the door. I stepped inside and found myself surrounded by leaders of the Shinsengumi. Their eyes dug into me like sharp knives. I stared before me and gulped nervously. Ohayo! Well, this wasn't particularly comfortable. What? quite silent, and I stared at Okita. Their lips are... Yeah, that's animated! They blink sometimes, too. It's pretty neat. I don't think Saito did anything wrong. You, on the other hand. Hijikata's voice broke no further insubordination. Okita shrugged and fell silent, but his smile lingered on his bright eyes. They all got their tits out. The man who spoke was... Well, he looked more like a boy than a man. 2 daddies, oh my god, what else can I... 3 daddies! Maybe this is the youthful Shinsengumi captain that the Inoue was describing to me. I'd imagined the leaders of the Shinsengumi to be older, maybe even middle-aged men, but their faces are still blessed with youth. In fact, one might confuse them at first as a glance of young bohemian thugs. Two nearby men replied to Todo in were very mockingly but light-hearted tones. I somewhat recalled Inoue's description of the 2 energetic members. His mention of them was brief, but seeing them in person was an eye-opening experience. He said the short-haired one was Nagakura, and the other with long hair was Harada. Close-up of the crotch, it really did, didn't it? Their back-and-forth reports seemed developed into a rhythm formed years of friendship, which perverted my arrival and made me foreign here. I sensed something apart from curiosity towards me, though, like a feeling of animosity. Despite their cheerful levity, they had not forgiven my presence among them. Suddenly, I wanted very much to go home. I wanted to leave this place and ever return. My chest tightened, and I stared down, hoping to wake up in bed with all this only a memory. Oh. His voice was calm and warm, and I felt myself relax, even if it was only a little bit. As he finished speaking, the rest of the men nodded solemnly in agreement. I wondered, who could possibly command with such fear and respect from these men? Oh, sorry. I'll turn it up a little bit just because they're talking. No, make sure you guys can hear it. And the men called Sanan and Hijikata stared at one another with a smirk. These can't all be routes, right? Some of these guys look like such side characters. Hijikata and Sanan sounded distant when they spoke to one another, not exactly friendly. Still, the man who spoke had certainly sounded as though they were friends. Can't hear it, no problem. Good shit, good shit. I know the very first time I read this, granted it was a different Hakuoki book, but the very first time we'd streamed this, I went back and watched the playback, and like you could hear nothing from the game. I was like, God damn it. When you say chief, do you mean that you say you are the most important man in the Shinsengumi?
まあ、俺が偉いわけじゃない。皆の代表ということだよ。それから、そこの都市が副長で、横にいる三男君は総長を務めていて。い
や、近藤さん。なんでいろいろ教えてやってんだよ、あんた。
Him?
まずいのか
You think I'm a man? Oh, gay panic.
黙ってる方が得策なんじゃないですかね。
わざわざ教えてやる義理はないと思うけど。
確かにそうなんだが、紹介しないことには話が進まんだろう。
Harada glanced over at Kondo and let out a bark of laughter.
ここまで来たら知られて困ることもねえけどな。
Anna looked rather disappointed when Hijikata spoke, but he perked up at Harada's words. Despite knowing him for 5 minutes, it's easy to see that the words resonated well with his men. He had a sort of charisma that simply drew you in, a man who was impossible to hate.
本題に入ろう。まずは改めて昨晩の話を聞かせてくれ。
はい。昨晩京の都を夜間巡察中、不老の老子と遭遇。相手が一部の大使らが老子を無力化しましたが、その折彼らが失敗した様子をこの者が目撃されています。
As he finished, Saito turned and looked at me. I didn't see anything. Even with my insistence, Hijikata continued to stare at me with a harsh glance. Saito remained expressionless, and the smile on Okida's face didn't change.
なあ、お前本当に何も見てないのか?
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
見てないんならいいんだけどさ。
あれ、掃除の話じゃ、お前が大使どもを助けてくれたって話だったな。
No, that's not true. I glanced over at Okida, but his smile remained. Whatever he was thinking was a mystery to me. I was running away from the Ronin. Then some people with Shinsengumi uniforms appeared. Really, they sort of rescued me. Oh boy. I couldn't exactly deny that. However, I knew that choosing to stay silent would implicate me deeper in lying would. I wasn't sure what to make of Harada's words. My presence seemed bad for the Shinsengumi. Would their next words be condemning me to death for being in the wrong place at the wrong time? My voice shook, but I knew I had to try. I won't tell anyone, I promise. His voice was still warm, but his words were cold, and I began to feel the chances of life slip away.
話さないというのも簡単だが、この者が新選組に義理立てする理由もない。
約束を破らない保証なんてないですし、やっぱり解放するのは難しいですよね。ほら、殺しちゃいましょうよ。口封じするなら、それが一番じゃないですか。
He's not wrong. but... Can you handle torture? Depends. What kind are we talking, Daddy? I found her.
そんな顔しないでくださいよ。今のはただの冗談ですから。
あんたは冗談に聞こえる冗談を言え。
After being rebuked by Saito, Okida gave a playful smile.
しかし、なんとかならんのかね。まだこんな子供だろう。
私も何とかしてあげたいとは思いますが、うっかり漏らされでもしたら一大事です。さて、 私は副長のご意見を伺いたいのですが、いかがですか、土方。
The men looked to Hijikata, listening intently. He sighed and glanced around the room.
俺たちは昨晩指導に背いた大使を粛清した。こいつはその現場に居合わせた。
This, like, portrait of him makes it seem like he has, like, long hair. I mean, he has long hair, but, like, not a ponytail, you know? That's why at first I thought there was, like, two guys that looked exactly the same. I was like, what the fuck?
それだけだとおっしゃりたいんですか。
実際このガキの認識なんざその程度のもんだとは思うんだが。
けどよ、こればっかりは大義のためにも内密にしなきゃなんねえことだよな。新選組の大使は血に狂ってるなんて噂が立ちゃ、俺らのタイムにだって支障が出るぜ。
Shinpachi's words made sense to everyone. Hijikata's face looked grim.
おい、言葉を慎め。俺は指導に背いた大使を粛清した。
でもまあ、どっちみち
The differences in the glasses.
宗司の意見にも一理あると思うが、俺は土方さんや近藤さんの決定にした。
俺は逃がしてやってもいいと思う。こいつは別にあいつらが血に狂った理由を知っちまったわけでもないんだしさ。
I think we are gonna go with Commander Man on the far left. I think we're gonna do his route. But I can definitely tell you who we're not doing, and it's the two on the right. The guy in the far right, I've already done his route, and the guy in the middle, I don't fucking like that pipsqueak. What do you mean, everything? I couldn't help but wander out loud, and the mood of the room shifted to an icy silence.
これでますます君の無罪方面が難しくなっちゃった。
Redheaded dude practically got an open push-up bra. He really does. Oh my god. A man? Oh, that's right. They still believed me I was a boy. With everything else that had happened, I completely forgotten that I was dressed. Their jokes were barbaric, but they both broke into a raucous laughter. Oh, he looks good too. I like how they're all deciding if they should kill me or not, and over here just deciding whose dick I'm gonna ride. It's crazy. He was right. If I remained with them, then I could easily hear something I wasn't supposed to. Wait, I missed that detail. We're doing an Oran host club. Yeah, I guess I look like I'm dressed like one of the wandering Ronin, so they assume man, because women weren't samurai back then. You know, of course, so they all think I'm a dude. I was relieved when I brought it up. I could hear Toto's voice rise as everyone turned to look at him. He looked at them for a bit, and then turned to me and mumbled a voice that I could barely hear. I was still apprehensive about what they might do to me, but I couldn't quite respond to him well. But he seemed to understand, and I curtly managed a nod. It was the most I could manage. Alright. That's mad power bottom energy. Should we kill him? Well, it's choosing which one to ride. Oh shit. Oh, I don't mean to do that. Okay. After returning to my room, I'd spent some time reflecting upon my state and still bound hands. The rumors spoke about the Shinsengumi as vicious men, but they seemed more intimate, human to me. Still, their presence, or their being, lingered through me, as if to say, we are not killers, but to protect our code we must bring death. Did someone say power? Remaining here is only bringing me closer to the possibility of them killing me. I don't know if I can convince them to spare me. Just as I have no loyalty to them, they have no loyalty to me, only the Shinsengumi. But then, they mentioned a man must always be ready to face death. So are they still mistaking me for a man? Could I possibly risk exposing my true identity in exchange for mercy of my life? But this could just as easily backfire for me, and I could extract even more, or a worse fate. Let's see. I think we're gonna go with attempt to explain. So tell them I'm a woman. They might be into it. I would tell them the truth. Perhaps if I did, they'd understand my dilemma. Perhaps they would think I'm from Kyoto as well. If I told them I only just arrived in Kyoto, they might lower their guard, or so I hoped. I don't know anyone in Kyoto, and I'd only come to look for my father. I haven't even told them I'm a girl. The rest perhaps could wait, but I felt that I might be wise to tell them I was a girl. I took a deep breath and screamed loudly. Excuse me! Is anyone there? Attempt to explain makes more sense. True. I'm not sure. I don't know. I bet, no, now I'm thinking about it, I bet the try to escape leads to one of the other guy's routes that's not in the Shinsengumi. Several faces appeared around the edges. That's not it. I want you to hear me out. Just, like, flash tits. Be like, I'm not a man! I sympathize with your awful luck. Oh shit, you said that, not me. Fuck, red hair. Balls. They all spoke as if they'd already consigned me to death. It was time to make my choice. Why is one of these white? Is that one like that I haven't chosen when I was playing this game? I wonder. Decided to tell them I ain't a boy. As Saito turned to go, I rounded on Toto to glare at him furiously. Earlier you said a man should know when to accept his fate. You don't think there's anything wrong with killing a man before hearing him out? But I'm not a man. That. Oh. He's really thinking about that gay panic. Yeah. Shows the boing boings. I'm a woman. Oh, fuck you. Damn right. I wonder who that was for. Usually that makes like you made like a good choice for somebody. Maybe it's for all three of these guys? I don't know. They're all if that is, it's like, wow, they realized I'm a woman. They're a lot more excited about this. Judging by the calmness in Saito's demeanor, it seemed he was unsurprised by my attempt to dress like a boy. Alright, alright. There I was, surrounded once again by the leaders of the Shinsegumi.
少年にしては華奢で可愛らしい顔をしていると思っていたんだが、まさか本当に女子だったとはな。
Daddy Saito. Kodo was nodding his head repeatedly, as if he was agreeing with a very intelligent suggestion. For him to notice the softness of my features, it flattered me a bit.
女だって聞いてから見ると女にしか見えなくなってくるんだよな。
Once you know she's a... Oh shit, that's you talking.
女の子を一晩縄で縛っておくとは悪いことをしたね。
Oh, imagine one of them had a negative reaction. Yeah, like, oh, fuck.
でもよ、女だって言うが別に証拠はないんだろ。
Proof?
証拠も何も一目瞭然だろうが。なんなら脱がせてみるか。
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I thought I muted. I was coughing really bad, so I just had to, like, try and get it out.
許さんぞ。注目の中、女子に肌をさらさせるなど言語道断。
だがな、それが一番手っ取り早いと思ったんだ。無理にとは言わないがな。
I mean, he's not wrong. The quickest way would be to show the not penis, right?
何甘いこと言ってるんだ。男だろうが女だろうが、性別の違いは生かす理由にならねえだろう。
My guy still wants me dead.
ですが、女性に限らず、そもそも人を殺すのは忍びないことです。今日の治安を守るために組織された私たちが無益な殺生をするわけにはいきません。
結局、女の子だろうが男の子だろうが、今日の平安を乱しかねないなら話は別ですよね。
The Shinsegumi had already suffered a very gruesome reputation in Kyoto. If rumors spread that their men were thirsty for blood, things weren't likely to go well for them. Half these guys got their chests out and seem to have a bigger chest than your character's portrait. That's what I'm saying, they all got boobies and I don't. Kyoto would banish them, and with no one to protect the people, the city would erupt in chaos. Each of their members deeply understood the consequences of behaving rashly in these times.
悪いが、お前の荷物を改めさせてもらったぞ。どうやら江戸からここまで一人で来たみてえだ。荷物はわずかな着替えと一月分の小銭、それと数通の手紙と、手紙には幕府御殿医の松本良人の名前が。おそらくそこを訪ねたんだ。お前の目的は何だ？
The minute my name was spoken, the vibe in the room shifted immensely. Everyone wore a stunned expression, eyes wide, and no words were uttered in response until...
土方さん、その名前は？
おいおい、偶然にしちゃできすぎだぜ。
The flattest one is the female lead.
それを判断するため
It's
に
true.
まずは君の話を聞かせてくれるかな。
At Kondo's behest, I stood up and spoke. My name is Bluma Yukimura. Under the watchful eyes of the leaders, I sharply described how I came to face them, how I lived in Edo, how I'd come to Kyoto to find my father, how lonely the city felt before I arrived.
そうか。出身も江戸だったのだな。そして、お父上は何という方？
My father is Kodo Yukimura. What are you talking about?
あなたが持っていた手紙の筆跡。これはまさにコードーさんのものでしたが、まさか本当にコードーさんのご息女とはね。
You know about my father? The silence was enough to tell me that the revelation of my parentage caused a pronounced change in their behavior. What? So, you've been withholding information from us? Oh shit. Huh? What information are you talking about? Just came to look for my father. I swear I don't know anything else. You getting mad bad. I was only aware of my father being in Kyoto for his medical work, and I haven't seen him since last summer. That's all I know.
土方君、どうやら本当に何も知らないのかもしれませんね。
So what do you know about my father? Where's he right now? Please tell me.
高堂さんの行方を現在新選組でも探している。
You're after my father? So that means...
勘違いしないでね。僕たちは高堂さんを狙ってるわけじゃないから。
I see. A huge wave of relief came over me.
同じ幕府側の協力者なんだけど、実は彼、夏から行方知れずなんだよね。
幕府をよく思わない者たちが高堂さんに目をつけた可能性が高い。
I just woke up. Hold on a minute. Ah! I let out an audible gasp, but Saito continued without paying me any
生
mind.
きている降参も高い。乱暴より利用価値がある想定だ。
Why is it saying quick data, nothing found? I ain't clicking nothing. I wasn't sure what else to do, so I nodded. My heart pounded in my chest, threatening to burst open the floor.
近藤さん、どうでしょうか。
We're not, after him,
同
bites
じ人
lip.
物を探す者同士、彼女に手を貸してあげてはいかがかと。
手を貸すとはどういうことかね。
高堂さんが見つかるまで互いに協力し合うということです。彼女に協力してもらうことで高堂さんが見つかる可能性は格段に上昇するでしょう。
は？
私たちがいくら探しても姿形を変えられてしまっては見抜くことは難しい。ですが高堂さんの娘である君ならば身なりが変わっていようと看破できますね。
Yeah, of course. I nodded as I spoke, while giving him what I'd helped to seem like a steady, reassuring smile.
それに彼女が手中にあるというのは何かと
That sounds sketchy as fuck. Saying it like that. Having her around may be useful for the headquarters. Bro.
どうだとし、三男君の意見に俺は賛成だ。
こいつが本当に何も知らねえって言うんだ。
Yep, I'm stupid. It's true. All I know is my father headed to Kyoto. I don't know anything else. And about last night, I didn't see anything.
まあ、あの乱暴医の娘となりゃ殺しちまうわけにもいかねえか。
His eyes narrowed as he looked down at me.
夕べの件は忘れるって言うんなら、父親が見つかるまでお前を保護し
Fuck yeah, and a free room full of men. Let's go.
君の父上を見つけるためならば、我ら新選組は協力は惜しまんとも。
Thank you so much. I never imagined something like this. I was elated to have escaped death, but only had I survived, and I had found my first decent lead.
殺されずに済んでよかったね。
Having her around might be useful. We have all these dresses we've been making and no one to try them on. That's so wholesome, though. He gave me that same wolfish grin. There's no denying that my situation was still less than desirable, but it didn't matter now. Yes, I'm very glad. Against all odds, at least, I found help where I'd never expected it. The Shinsegumi. My first day in Kyoto was quite an adventure. In spite of everything I'd seen, my fortune was improving with every step. I still had a long way to go, but keeping it positivity was my only hope. That's what he means, right? Right? Yes, thank you. It was a pleasure for me as well. He only had wholesome intentions, right? Right?
そうですね。これはちょっと困りましたな。
Kodo crossed his arms and thought deeply.
不便があれば言うといい。その都度可能な
Wolfish, selfish, donkfish? What? Oh, thank you, Saito Daddy.
まあ女の子となりゃ手厚くもてなさんといかんよな。
新発さん女の子に弱いもんな。でもだからって手のひら返すの早すぎ。
いいじゃねえか。これで豚書が華やかになると思えば新八に限らずはしゃぎたくもなるだろう。
Wasn't entirely sure I believed the sentiment.
とはいえ、ここでは女性として扱うのは難しそうです。大使として扱うのもまた問題ですし、彼女の処遇は。
That's my daddy. Which one's your daddy?
なら誰かの交渉にすりゃいいだろう。近藤さんとか三男さんとか。
やだな、土方さん。そういう時は言い出しっぺが責任取らなくちゃ。
ああ、そうだな。都市のそばなら安心だ。
そういうことで土方くん。
Oh, you're gonna take care of me? Saito? Oh yeah, Saito's pretty good.
てめえら勝手に決めてるんじゃねえ。
Well, guess what? I'm gonna decide. You know what, Toshizo? You will take care of me. God damn it. I've decided. As I watched their back and forth, some of my early relief began to ebb away. And this is how the Shinsegumi had come to look after me. February 1864. I slid the door open and met with a breath of cold morning air. Mad power bottom energy. You will take care of me. Damn right. Clumps of thick clouds trundled silently over the city, and an unusually strong wind driving them along. Cold today. I shivered a bit and grabbed a jacket from near the door to wrap around myself. A week had passed since I began living in the headquarters of the Shinsegumi. I was given a room of my own, but they made it clear that I wasn't to roam freely. They weren't the best accommodations, but given how close I was to being murdered, I thought it was best not to complain. Still, do I really need to dress like this all the time? I sighed, staring at my feet on the cold floor. They'd given me temporary accommodations, but it wasn't without strict conditions.
お前の身柄は新選組預かりとする。が、女として豚書へ置くわけにはいかねえ。新選組にかくまわれている女がいる。そんな話が万一にも広まれば、よくねえ勘繰りをする奴も出てくる。それに、噂を聞いて行動さんを狙っている奴らが、お前まで狙い出すかもしれねえ。もちろん、行動さんが狙われていると確定したわけじゃねえがな。こういう不確定要素が多い現状で迂闊な行動は取れねえってことだ。だからお前には断層を続けてもらう。面倒だろう。
Clear. His reasoning was sound. Perhaps more than that, I knew he was concerned not only for the Shinsegumi, but also for the safety of my father and myself. I didn't have a choice regardless, but keeping this in mind made the orders more palatable.
それに、たとえ君にその気がなくとも、女性の存在は体内の風紀を乱している。
Wow.
ですから私たち幹部のほか、大使たちへも君の事情は話しません。情報はそれこそどこから広まるかわかりませんからね。
Let's be reckless and relentless. It's true.
豚書じゃ何もしなくていい。部屋を一つやるから引きこもってろ。
あれ、おかしいな。この子、誰かさんの故障になるんじゃなかったですか？
いいか、掃除。てめえは余計な口出しせずに黙ってろ。
Ooh. Ooh. Before long, I'd been there for a week. Guess I don't have much choice. No sense in dwelling on what I can't do, after all. Although it was still a new sensation, I'd grown uncomfortable dressing like a boy, particularly the feeling of the wearing pants. I straightened up and touched the kodachi that Hijikata had given to me. It was a familiar friend of mine. The blade by my hip stretched back as far as I could recall. According to my father, this was an important heirloom passed down through the Yukimura clan. As such, I was forced to take lessons in swordplay, making me well aware of what the blade was capable of. I had never cared much for weapons. Weapons, they hurt people, which is an obvious factor, but it was more than that, at least for me. For as far back as I could remember, any wounds I had suffered healed with incredible rate. Small cuts would disappear overnight. As a child, I thought nothing of it, but as I grew older I began to realize that I was not quite normal. My father insisted it was a gift of the gods, but I should tell no one of it. I didn't tell anyone, of course, and I was afraid they would treat me like a monster if they knew. Ever since then, I'd done my best not to get hurt. I stayed as far from the blades as I could, and before I realized it, I developed a fear of them. My constant need for disguise was frustrating, and my condition left me more than unsettled. Still, that wasn't the only thing on my mind. The rank and file of the soldiers treated me coldly. I'm not just imagining it, right? I learned having a private room was a privilege, even for the captains. For a child to arrive and receive better treatment than their own captains? No surprise, really, for the soldiers to hate me. True, I suppose I can't really blame them. I was enjoying the Shinsugumi's hospitality, and so I felt I should help them in some way, but I knew nothing of the soldiers and their ways. I gave as much effort as possible, despite Hijikata's commands for me to remain in my room. How does one calm and lonely, restless mind? I think for the soldiers, whenever the captains have their officers would look after me, it appears as if they were giving me special treatment. They're just watching me. To make sure I kept my mouth shut, they took turns keeping watch over me. Any mistake on my part would cause a huge trouble, so they were making an effort to keep me contained. Even I could speak with the soldiers. What conversations would they share? Nothing? My only respite from the possibility of detection would be to stay alone. Again. All I wanted from this, though, was to find my father. Even though they promised to help me, keeping me locked in here without the ability to leave was better than being tied up. Just when I felt I had made some progress into my journey, my search was kept to a halt. Perhaps I thought I could talk to Hijikata, if he would give me permission to look for my father. No, that's right. Hijikata was recently departed to Osaka. Well, if Hijikata's not here, I wasn't sure what to do. I guess we'll stay put. Haven't done that option yet. To be completely honest, staying in the room was awfully boring. Nah, considering the predicament, we need to follow Hijikata's orders, Bluma. I didn't want to cause a disturbance on top of what I'd done. The consequences would be... What am I doing here? A forlorn malice wafted over me. The room was nice, of course, but particularly empty. It wasn't uncomfortable. Not comfortable either. And nothing passed the time. Here I thought I've gotten used to doing nothing. My father's business required him to take trips frequently, sometimes for days at a time, and so I'd spent a good deal of time on my own. That isn't quite the same, though. Back then I always knew he'd be back, eventually. Waiting for someone you knew would return, and waiting for what you didn't quite know, are two different things. When will I be able to start looking for my father again, I wonder? My reflections all manifest into sighs eventually.
探したぞ雪村君。ここにいるとは思わなんだ。
Kondo smiled brilliantly as he stepped into the room, holding a tray in his hands. I'm sorry? I wasn't sure what to make of his words, so instead I silently bowed.
いや、待てよ。もしやここが君の部屋なのか？
For now, yeah.
なんと、俺女子の部屋に無断で立ち入ってしまったというわけか。
It's fine. After all, it isn't as though you're saying anything you wouldn't want me to see.
都市の故障というからには、都市の隣部屋かと思っていたのだが。
Hijikata had, of course, failed to tell Kondo that I had yet to be made a page. I wasn't surprised. It wasn't too hard to see what was going on. I'm not really prepared to entertain, but you're welcome to come in if you'd like.
そうか。では失礼してお邪魔させてもらおう。だが、そうかしこまらんでくれ。君は我ら新選組の客人のようなものだからな。
Then he placed the tray on the floor between us. This is... As I looked down at the tray, I could barely stifle a sudden squeal of excitement.
君は甘いものは好きかね
Oh,
茶菓
come
子の
on.
棚にコンペイトーがあったのでな持ってきたんだ
What a sweetheart! On the plate, he arranged several colorful candies and a cup of warm green tea.
どうかね
Can't tell if he's side character or not. That's what I'm saying! Some of these men just, like, radiate, I'm a side bitch. Like, I'm not one of the routes, right? That's why I don't know.
さあ遠慮は無用だぞ
Thank you very much. I cautiously reached out to take one of the candies. It's delicious! It had been a while since I had any sweets. Side character 100%. Mm-hmm. Something about the small, colorful candies seemed so adorable I couldn't help but smile.
そうか気に入ってくれたみたいで何よりだ
Kondo pressed a warm presence that made me feel safe as he watched me
そうい
eat.
えばまだ外出の許可は出ていないそうだ
It's true, but it seems better to know my place. Rushing things would only make me in trouble. So, just as Hijikata suggested, I plan on waiting it out just a little bit
な
more.
るほど分かってくれて嬉しいああ見えてトシは昔から他人に世話を焼かないでいられない性分だからな
Hijikata's caring? I could see it. That didn't seem right, but then again I told myself Kondo knows him much better than I do.
ちょっと厳しいところがあるかもしれない
Him proactively showing up and bringing sweets doesn't feel side character to me. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're spending a lot of time with side character, man. No. You're right, though. He really feels like he might be one of the choices, but, like, he just doesn't seem like it. The art, anyway. I guess that would be the case. If the commander doesn't think it's time for me to leave yet, then I trust him. I'm sure you all know what's out there better than I do. I hadn't spent much time with him, but it was obvious that Hijikata was no fool. He was intimidating, of course, but he was a man of good
これから
intentions.
もトシには伝えておこう退屈だろうがもうしばらく我慢してくれ
Alright, thank you. He hadn't done much, to be honest, but Kondo's visit had cheered me up greatly. Of course, the conditions of staying in my room were left unchanged. However, the creature comforts of spending an afternoon drinking warm tea gave me some life. Time stood still, shadows drifting along the wall. How long am I gonna do this? Solitude was proving detrimental in the glimmer of hope. My heart felt heavier than each moment. How lonely a wistful, forlorn mind can become. I had been swept up in a frightening world I didn't understand and I couldn't possibly control. I can't possibly figure out what's happening to my father if I'm stuck here. Only Hijikata can give me permission to leave, and he's gone. All I could do was wait. Lamenting things I couldn't change wouldn't improve my situation, and would arguably make it worse. I knew I couldn't trust the men of the Shinsengumi completely. They were, after all, men who could take a life in the blink of an eye. It would be just as easy for them to end my life. Well, at least they've all been nice to me. For now. They're nice men deep down, right?
君さ、騙されやすい性格とか言われない？
What are you doing here?
もしかして気づいてなかったとか？
Did you hear everything I said? Wow. He heard me. He definitely heard me. I wanted to scream, but before I could open my mouth, Saito stepped out from behind the door.
無駄話はそれくらいにしておけ。
Bruce, your daddy's here. Wait, were you here the whole time too?
つい先ほど来たばかりだ。
Ah, thank goodness. Sorry for screaming like that.
気にするな。そもそも今の独り言、聞かれて困るような内容でもないだろう。
True. I didn't say anything bad, but still. Well, I was embarrassed to be caught talking to myself. Also, Saito watched me fidgeting and mumbling. His eyes pierced right through me.
夕飯の支度が済んだのだから、じゃ 邪魔をしただろうか。
No, no, nothing at all.
掃除の話に一区切りついたら声をかけるつもりだったんだが、放っておくと長引きそうだったから話の腰を折らせてもらった。
Saito shrugged shortly before he caught the sound of footsteps approaching us noisily. Heisuke shot through the door. The moment he saw us, however, his face fell.
あのさ、飯の時間なんだけど。
すまん、平介。今行く。
あ、お前も急げって。早くしねえと食うものなくなっちまうからさ。
Oh, it's one of those kind of dinners. Sorry, Toto. I'll be there as soon as I can. He turned to leave, but he halted on his tracks. He pursed his small lips together before speaking.
東堂さんってやめない？みんな平介って呼ぶからそれでいいよ。
Well, that's the thing. Characters have specific personalities, and side characters have more variety of personality. He's being nice to the main character. Yeah.
年も近いからその方がしっくりするし。あとそのデスマスもやめようぜ。
Alright, I'll do that then, Heisuke.
そうそう、それでいいや。じゃあ早く行こうぜ。
ようやく来たか。
I know it looks like there's just like 4 bowls of different colored stuff in them, but it looks really good. I think I'm getting hungry.
それってただ腹が鳴ってるだけだろ。
お前らが来るまで食い始めるのを待っててやった。俺様の寛大な腹に感謝しやがれ。
シンパチー、それ寛大な心だろ。それじゃいつものように自分の飯は自分で守れよ。
今日も相変わらずせこい夕飯だよな。というわけで隣の晩ご飯突撃だい。弱肉強食の時代、俺様がいただくぜ。
ちょっとシンパッツァ、なんで俺のおかずばっか狙うかな。
それは体の大きさだ。大きいやつにはそれなりに食う量が必要なんだよ。
じゃあ育ち盛りの俺はもっともっと食わないとね。
毎回毎回こんなんですまないな。
I've gotten used to it.
慣れて恐ろしいものだな。
Oh, why aren't you taking anything?
あんまりお腹いっぱいに食べるとバカになるしね。
おいおい、バカとは聞き捨て。だがその飯はいただくぜ。
どうぞどうぞ。僕はお酒をちびちびしてればいいし。
んじゃ俺も酒にするか
な。ただご飯とか気にしないでお腹いっぱい食べるんだよ。
I know. I can't help but feel a little bad though.
気にしなくてもいいが、自分の飯は自分で守る。
Okay. Always eating alone made the experience of dinner with these men both exhilarating and frightening evening for me. It was actually fun.
最初からそうやって笑ってろ。俺らもお前を悪いようにはしないさ。
I wonder how much time they spent putting eyeliner on every— oh my god. Harada. His mouth curled up into an honest smile of his own. Had I really looked so down? Perhaps they were all trying to cheer me up. Come on now, that's cute. I wasn't quite sure how to feel. I was convinced over whether or not to feel pity for myself and appreciate the moment for what it was. At least 30 minutes. The joy seemed to be winning out, however, and I caught myself smiling at Inoue as he moved the room. As usual, his voice was warm, but his eyes were a level of solemnity I'd never seen before, at least during the brief acquaintance thus far. The warmth of the room slowly evaporated. See, I don't know who Sanan is. I already lost it. Which one was which?
何があったの？
ああ、二人が訪ねる大坂の呉服屋に老師たちが無理やり押し入ったらしい。駆けつけたトシさんと三男さんがなんとか老師たちを退けたらしいが、その時切られたそうなんだ。
Is he gonna be alright?
相当の深手だと手紙に書いてあるけど、 傷は左腕とのことだ。剣を握るのは難しいみたいだが、命に別状はないそうだよ。
That's good. I exhaled a brief sigh of relief, but the rest of the room was tense, still itching for
数
answers.
日中には当初へたどり着くんじゃないかな。それじゃ私はイサミさんと話があるから。
He turned as he spoke, his last words delivered over his shoulder, and was gone. It was Saito who soon broke the awkward silence.
剣が握れないほどの深手か。腕の筋まで立たれているかもしれん。刀は片腕で容易に扱えるものではない。最悪三段さんは二度と神経を震えない。
Oh. At last I understood.
片腕で扱えば刀の威力が損なわれる。そしてつばぜり合いになれば
薬でも何でも使ってもらうしかないですね。三男さんも納得してくれるんじゃないかな。
そうじ。めったなこと言うもんじゃねえ。幹部が羅刹になってどうするんだよ。
Huh? Wait, that didn't make any sense. What are the Furies?
ああ、羅刹ってのは薬を飲んだら怪我も治っちまう。
平助
Huh? Before I could move, Harada was on his feet and halfway across the room. I barely had time to gasp before he drove his fist into Heisuke. Heisuke, are you okay?
やりすぎだぞ、佐野。悪かったな、平助。先に口を滑らせたこっちも悪かった。
大丈夫か？悪かったな。
After a moment, Harada curtly nodded to Heisuke in apology, the latter offering a quick, pained smile. For a moment, I thought they said furry. Oh my god. His punch had enough force to knock out a lesser man, but Heisuke seemed unfazed. It was never clear how different these men were.
今の話は君が聞いちゃいけないことにほんのちょっと首を突っ込んだところだ。これ以上のことは教えられねえんだ。気になるだろうけど何も聞かないでほしい。それとさっきの平助の話は忘れてくれ。
His voice was friendly, but his eyes gave his words a cold weight that made me feel uncomfortable.
羅刹っていうのはかわいそうな子たちのことだよ。
Okita's voice was flat, emotionless. A sudden chill of melancholy entered his eyes. I couldn't bring myself to say anything more. Thankfully, Nagakura broke the awkward
お前
silence.
さんは何も気にしなくていいんだって。だからそんな顔するなよ。
He was only a guest in their house, not a warrior of the Shinsegumi. The truth of the Shinsegumi's secrets were no business of mine, something I'd known. There was a little value in the sentiment, however.
忘れろ。深く踏み込めばあんたの生き死ににも関わりかねない。
I bit my lip and kept silent. The wall between us was almost tangible, almost far too large of an obstacle for me to defeat easily. I finished my dinner in sad silence, excused myself, and returned to my room. I had a great deal to think about. Theories, huh? I wondered to myself about the theories referred to by the Raksha pictured in the Buddhist text. Though I wasn't well versed, I recalled reading a text about a man-eating demon god with that name. I have no idea where to start, from the drinking medicine to Captain becoming a fury. No, I wasn't supposed to think about those things. I was only going to get myself in trouble if I stuck at my nose where I didn't belong. Hajimete has big Sasuke vibes. Seeing or hearing a wrong thing could kill me. If I die, it'll be a hard time looking for my father. The Shinsegumi captains are keeping themselves hush around me, especially about the Furies. Are they going to protect me? Even if I dug around, I'm sure nothing good would come of it. With that in mind, I did my best to clear my head. On the evening's events, I slipped into my futon. Or in March. It fast approached a month since I began living in the Shinsegumi headquarters. Hijikata and Sanan finally returned to the compound from their trip to Osaka, but the spirits were low. Sanan's injury had unforeseen consequences for everyone in the organization. Day-to-day operations became hectic for a little while. His wounds seemed quite dire, and they drained whatever goodness in his nature they'd hoped to keep. Sanan would spend his days holed up in his room, protected by a barrier of impenetrable silence. If he were to leave his room, on a rare occasion now, he was often short-tempered and quickly retreated. Oh! Save? Oh, shit. Yeah, overwrite that. Oh, I right-clicked. That's how. I thought that was like the end of the chapter. I was like, what? Okay. Even though I too spent days in exile in my room, he seemed to take it much differently. Sanan seemed trapped within his painful memory, each day bringing him closer to a gloomy twilight. I softly pondered what service I could offer to the Shinsegumi if I were not allowed to search for my father. I'm sure Hijikata is overwhelmed with whatever business he's dealing with, but I need to visit him. I realize, with the tension so high, that it's better to save Hijikata on my side rather than to not. I crept around the hall, looking for Hijikata, and he was nowhere to be seen. Would it be impolite to visit his room directly? As I placed around the hall in contemplation, an unknown warrior appeared before me. Hey! How are you? How are you? Anyway, I've been living in the Yagi residence for a month, and he was unfamiliar to me. Service. No. It's wholesome, remember? It's wholesome. My current dilemma compelled me to approach him. Excuse me, have you seen Hijikata? The man turned to respond, and his eyes widened to scan the enormous frame as before he spoke. Like serving him food in bed. Muffin. Oh, your voice is good. I've been waiting for you. Oh, I am well, it's a long story. Yes, sir. I'm Bluma Yukimura. Yeah. I wasn't aware they were telling people that I was an apprentice warrior at the headquarters. However, my reputation was the last thing on my mind when I faced this man's pressuring gaze. I didn't appreciate the harsh scrutiny he seemed to impose, scanning me from head to toe. I did no such thing. His voice reminds me of Pain from Naruto. Oh, I could hear it. I hear it. I'm getting Dio too from JoJo. But I think that's just deep Japanese man. Oh shit. Sorry, I was talking about how sexy I find your voice. He grew increasingly agitated, almost like a petulant child, because I refused to answer him. He reached in his massive hand over towards me, and, as if to grab me, and then his voice stopped him. Takeda! That's his name. Haha, we have his name now. When he recognized Hijikata's voice, he snapped his hand back to his side. Yeah, didn't hear a word you said. I was actually just being shaken by your deep voice. Write that down, write that down. And he grabs me and I'm just like, oh, fuck yes, daddy. And he's like, what the fuck is wrong with this boy?
ところで土方副長、そのものを故障に取り立てたというのは本当ですか？
まあ少しばかり訳ありでな。
承知しました。訳ありならば詳しく聞くのはやめておきましょう。ですが、あまり同じ郷里のものばかりを周りに囲うのはいかがなものかと思います。では失礼。
Once Takeda exited the hall, I couldn't help but feel a rush of relief.
おい雪村、本所の中を勝手に歩くんじゃねえ。
Yes, sir. I didn't mean to cause trouble.
お前の正体を知っているのはこのヤギ邸に寝起きしてるやつだけだ。前川邸からこっちに来るやつらにも気をつけろ。
Clear. I promise I'll be more careful going forward. May I ask who the man was?
5番組組長の武田官流斎ってやつだ。
Kamru Seita.
腕はそこそこだが、文学だか軍学の多少の知恵を持ってるやつだ。抜け目のないやつだから気をつけろ。
Hot. Alright.
それから用がないならお前もこの辺でうろうろしてないで。
Hijikata attempted to dismiss me, having said that what he felt was appropriate in the stern commander. Ask him if I can help, I think, is what we want to do. I didn't get many chances to see Hijikata, so I took the opportunity to offer my aid to the house. I actually have a favor to ask of you. Staying in my room for long periods alone makes me feel terribly useless. Would you please give me something to do? Anything, like cleaning, laundry, anything. Hijikata sensed the sincerity of my plea, and it appears as though I actually considered it.
部屋にこもっているのはそんなに退屈か?
Yeah. A little bit, anyway.
わかった。ゲンさんに伝えておくから、後で指示を仰ぐ。
Really?
その代わり、あまり外から来たやつと関わるんじゃねえぞ。
Understood, and thank you so much. The next day, Inoue informed me that I was given more freedom within the headquarters, which allowed me to exit my room more freely. My duties included cleaning, laundry, and cooking. Not the most glamorous of chores. However, it gave me the opportunity to occupy myself, as opposed to going stir-crazy in my room. April, May, June. Wow, so now it's like 3 months. The 4th year of the Byakuya era became the Ganji Gamu, and the summer sweetly blossomed. Spring shed its blooming skin, giving birth to lush green trees and facing the wide open sky. Stop saying that shit. Quit telling me to load save data. During one of those beautiful summer days, I finished cleaning everyone's ate breakfast, and Saito brought me a haul into Hijikata. June already, yeah, for real, for real. This prologue is now 3 months long. Or 6 months long, I guess. We got here in late January. Saito responded by quietly opening the sliding doors, gesturing me to enter the room. Upon entering, I saw Hijikata, but also Okida, Nagakura, Harada, and Heisuke in the hall. It appeared that only the captains who were aware of my situation were present. Really? I could barely contain the excitement in my voice as soon as the words came out of his mouth. So, is it true that there was a man in Fushimi that matched my father's profile? I nodded in response. For now, any information pertaining to my father was appreciated, so I was thankful. So where is this man who supposedly looks like my father? Saito is assigned? We're still in that prologue? Yeah, we're still in the prologue. There's usually like a chapter card when we get to a new chapter, so we're definitely still in the prologue. I wasn't sure if it meant that I was accompanying Saito or if that would have to wait longer for him. Then Harada chimed in.
だが、コードさんがまだそこに留まってるとは限らねえだろ。
ああ、伏見にいたってことは。
We also, this is like one of the, I don't know if you would call it older school visual novels where it'll literally be like, alright, which man are you going to try for? Because that's what version of the book you get to read. So we haven't done that yet either.
だから原田と新八、それから平助の巡察にこいつを同行させて。
So this is definitely still prologue.
俺たち全員でいつもは手分けして順番に見回りしてるのに。
Hijikata didn't bother entertaining a response. Instead, he looked towards me. Was he suggesting these were the men who were responsible for dealing with me as I attempted to flee? Heisuke must be sensed that as well, so he made no attempt to push the issue any further.
言いたいことは分かりましたけど、この子のおもりを僕たちに任せっぱなしってのは気に入らないな。今日は確か土方さんも外出する予定が入ってましたよね。今後のためにも可愛い故障を同行させていろいろ勉強させたらどうですか?
Which boy will you be taking for a ride? Slaps the samurai man. You won't believe how many bitches this sword gets. Oh shit, I keep accidentally clicking that button.
でも他の大使たちは完全にそう信じ込んでるみたいですよ。嘘から出た誠なんて言葉もありますし、そう。
As Okita and Hijikata bickered with one another, the mood in the room was locked from the tense words until Harada whispered to me.
まあ、今の今日は物騒だし、無理に出かける必要はねえと思うぜ。俺たちも一応、コードさんの顔はわかるんだしな。
I could look for my father in Fushimi, or just patrol around assuming he's moved places, or stay here and keep safe in the outside, or accompany Hijikata as his page. What should I do? Oh man, I think I know which one. I think we're gonna go with Hijikata. Because I think that's the route we're gonna try. I don't know if Takeda is actually a route or if he's just an antagonist. I'm coming with you, Daddy! Stares down one. That's quite the sword you got there. In that case, please allow me to accompany you, Hijikata. Hijikata's voice trembled irritately, as if troubled by my suggestion, which made me nervous, but I thought I had a shot at convincing him. I mean, walking around town with you may help me getting leads to my father. With the other warriors questioning my place, it may be best in interest to me to act like your actual page. It could help convince the others. I recalled in that moment my introduction to Takeda, who voiced his skepticism plainly. After sharing my viewpoint, Hijikata's expression soured, and he responded. Hijikata stared briefly towards Akita, and again it seemed that they were trapped in a bubble of silence, but eventually... Sorry, this is like one of my favorite tropes, where like the guy just absolutely hates you at first, but it's like a slow burn. Nice. It's one of the best ones out there. Yep, I understand. I was somewhat surprised he obliged me, but I was so excited to join Hijikata and go outside. It's been almost 5 months since I've been able to finally experience the world and its scenery. Adorable little page. I agree, Bluma is adorable. Thanks. Oh my god. See, I fucking love this. How the fuck did I end up like this? I hate it. Hijikata kept himself a few paces ahead of me, deliberately, and his foul mood made me nervous. His cold demeanor caused me to question whether or not I belonged here, if this was my place. It was different to turn these questions to and fro in my head, but I was trying to keep up with them. Someone called out as we passed a tea shop.
区長、こちらにいらっしゃいましたか。実はご報告しなければならないことがありまして。
If this person referred to Hijikata as commander, then he must be a Shinsegumi member. He whispered a report in Hijikata's ear. The man's words caused Hijikata's face to turn blank, and he looked at me to speak. Huh? But then I'd be all by myself. Would that be alright with you? In response, Hijikata gave me an examining glance, as if to probe my hidden thoughts. He looked down at me while I was asking. Did you plan on joining me just to run away? When his eyes met mine, and the pit of my stomach dropped, turning into a cold form of nervousness. No, of course not. Okay, understood. I wasn't sure what Hijikata's intentions were by leaving me behind, but it was probably smarter to do as Hijikata said, so I asked the person at the shop about my father. Okay, where to start? I asked the customers that wandered in and out of the store, politely grabbing their attention. Unfortunately, it seemed that no one knew anything about my father's whereabouts. My tea became cold, little leaf flakes stinking towards the bottom of the cup, and I sighed. I recognized the shouting man by his familiar corpse uniform, and he barged into the shop. Do as you're told. Yes, Daddy. It was Takeda, the captain of Shinsegumi's 5th Division. What could he be doing here? The owner's voice was trembling from being intimidated, and Takeda responded forcefully. Takeda, you're being a bit of a dick, my guy. Sweat poured down the owner's face, and he shook with fear. Takeda's glance around the store with a sneaky glare. I quickly ducked behind a shelf so he wouldn't notice me. I managed to avoid detection as he scanned the store. Then Takeda approached the owner again. As I peeked to get a closer view of their conversation, I could see the owner's gulp. Although Takeda was not being explicit, it was deathly clear how he was soliciting a bribe from the owner. Oh no. I was sick to my stomach hearing him. Just when I was about to speak out, someone placed their hand on my shoulder. Ooh. This mysterious samurai whispered gently into my ear, but I became completely distracted by his perfectly sculpted facial features. Girl! His skin looked incredibly fair and soft, and he was almost as gorgeous as Hijikata. For a second, I thought he was an actor. He was dressed in expensive, exotic-looking fabrics, leading me to believe he was famous.
いいから。こういうことはお兄さんに任せておくものです。
Oni-san, I heard him say it! I heard him say it! The softness of his voice enveloped me in a great calm, and I sat back and let him proceed. But I hoped he'd be okay. Takeda was massive, and his short temper seemed like a recipe for disaster if anyone crossed him. Can't imagine dealing with such a violent soul.
すみません。ちょっといいですか？あなた、新選組の方ですね。
Damn, he is pretty. Shit. Shit, there's a lot of pretty men in this. Oh, shit.
だとしたらどうだというのだ。
そちらの主人は尊上過激派を出入りさせてないと言っているようです。一体何の疑いでこの方を連れて行くつもりなんでしょうか？
なんだ、私の邪魔をするとは貴様、この店に出入りする不逞老士の一人か。
The mysterious samurai smiled coolly, and he responded calmly.
邪魔をしたら不逞老士とは取り調べも何もあったものじゃないですか。
Husbandos everywhere. It's true.
我々のタイムを妨害しているのだから証拠としては十分だ。
わかりました。ここだと他の人たちに迷惑がかかりますから外に出ませんか？
不逞の輩な。ようやく
Dude, even Takeda's calling him pretty. Takeda huffed smugly to himself and waddled out of the store and challenged the samurai. Now that you mention it, it's wild how many pretty boys are around this one lady. It's true. It's true. Takeda's smirk remained on his face as the two met each other outside the store. He assumed an offensive stance, and then reached out for his katana to threaten him. Or not. As soon as Takeda moved his hand to unsheath, the samurai intercepted to cover the sword's mouth.
まさか本気で刀を抜くつもりじゃないですよね。もし抜けば僕も見て見ぬふりができなくなってしまいます。
Samurai possessed a duality. One side was soft-spoken, gentle man, and the other side, a warrior. Reverse harem. Those are some good, I love, yep. 10 out of 10 reverse harems. It's too bad that most of these men seem to just barely tolerate me, you know? Like, nobody wants me around, they're just, like, going with it. Before we knew it, people gathered around the store, murmuring amongst themselves and echoing the general sentiment of the confusion and wonder. The Mibu wolves are having a duel? Are they causing trouble again? Such murmurs caught my ear, and I looked ahead.
人が集まってきているようですよ。本当に抜くつもりですか？
The samurai seemed to already know the answer. Takeda began to grit his teeth angrily, and he scoffed and shook off the samurai's hand.
貴様の顔忘れはせんぞ。覚えておけ。
His face was flushed with red, and he swiftly exited and disappeared from the store. As the tension deflated, I exhaled in relief, and things didn't come to violence. Mibu wolves, are they brothers? Ooh, maybe, I don't know. I don't think so, the way they were talking.
さあ、中に戻りましょうか。
Are you okay?
はい。あのくらい平気です。
I'm glad. Why were you willing to risk your life against that man? You didn't have to stop me back there. The samurai slightly paused and then answered timidly.
あなたが知っていた顔によく似ていたからです。
I was perplexed. Me?
はい。やっぱり似ています。
Oh my god. He studied my face carefully, his eyes dotting up and down my small face. Although I liked the attention, I still had no clue who this person was or where he was from. No, I'm sorry. I think you've mistaken me for someone. I bowed lightly to him, and he looked a little taken back.
いいえ、いいですよ。ただの勘違いだったみたいですね。
I never forget a face. That's a really aggressive way to say I'll never forget those eyes.
とりあえず中に入りましょう。せっかくのお茶やお菓子が台無しになってしまったし。
The samurai's kind demeanor was nearly impossible to resist, drawing me in to return to the store as he caught the scent of the sweet city's sweet fun. Upon entering the tea shop, owner smiled and brought us freshly brewed tea.
もしかしてわざわざ入れ直してくれたんですか?
Sitting beside our tea was a neatly arranged platter of sweet bean jelly.
はい、ありがとうございました。本当に助かりました。
お礼を言われるほどのことじゃないですけど。でもありがとうございます。僕甘いもの大好きなんです。
それはよかった。存分に召し上がってください。
The owner seemed to bow after every sentence, and he returned to tend to his counter.
得しちゃいましたね。
I have a feeling that the mysterious samurai had someone and got killed. Aww. We love a tragic backstory. Oh no, I think the owner means for you to eat all this.
そうですね。では、僕がいただいてしまいますね。
He cut the sweet bean jelly into elegantly sliced halves and expressed delight after each bite. In my experience so far, samurai didn't ever seem to smile often, but every time he took a bite, he grinned like a child, smiling as if this was the happiest person alive. It wouldn't be too much of a stretch, maybe, to guess that he and I were close in age. And this thought came to mind. I could still hear customers murmuring, whispering amongst themselves into each other.
武士の中にも意外といい人がいるものなのね。
しかし役者みたいな美なんだ。
Hey, is this pretty samurai man gonna be an option? That'd be neat. The samurai seemed to overhear their discussions and timidly retreating from his initial enthusiasm. As soon as he finished drinking his tea,
すみません。僕の分のお勘定はここに置いておきます。
he rushed to get up, but not before slipping me some last words.
それでは僕はここで失礼します。もう無茶なことはしないようにしてくださいね。
Wait, what's your name? You still haven't said your name. Oh. The samurai fled the store, almost like a dream, wiping away one's mind after waking. Ah! He almost gave me no opportunity to thank him properly for earlier. I rushed after the samurai. Yes, girl! Wait! I chased after him, yelling to catch his attention.
どうかしましたか?
Thank you so much for earlier. You saved me.
別にお礼を言われるほどのことはしていません。
That'd be neat. Understatement of the century. He turned away from me, stopping to gaze at the clouds swirling above us.
新選組は随分評判が悪いみたいですね。さっきのようなことをしてたら仕方がないのかもしれないけど。
Well, what should I say? Oh shit, what should I say? Apologize about Takeda, I think. That's what we're gonna do. I hope he doesn't think Takeda's behavior is an example of how all Shinsengumi captains act. Hijikata and Inoue are both honorable men. Each one of the captains I've come to know are in fact kind and good-hearted, not like Takeda. It was difficult, though, to deny the earnest felt by both the samurai and the tea shop goers. I'm sorry.
どうしてあなたが謝るんです? 別に。
Well, although the samurai showed me kindness, it wasn't sure if I could trust him with the truth. In that moment, he picked up on the subtle cue, displaying a reserved silence as if he knew. Oh, come on! Come on! That's gotta be a good sign! Let's go!
これ以上は詮索しないでおきます。
There was a pause in our conversation, and the wind whistled softly in the background. The samurai didn't break his concentration, staring intently into my face. His eyes seemed to be searching for something, perhaps a faint glimmer of the long-lost memory. If only he could tell me what seemed to be on the tip of his tongue. But he shut his eyes in turn.
それでは僕はそろそろ行きますね。
Oh, sorry for stopping
気
you.
にしないでください。会えて嬉しかったよ。
How do you know my name? How did he know my name? Huh? How did he know my name? Who is this man? The samurai turned his back to me and departed. He wasn't familiar to me. Was I to him? I didn't have much time to consider any of that, because it meant Hijikata would return shortly. What was Mystery Samurai Man name? How am I gonna know how to pick his route if I don't know which one he is? God damn it. Hijikata. I quietly shook my head in response. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just slightly frazzled. As we walked back towards headquarters, I filled Hijikata in on the earlier proceedings. Somehow he was able to contain a palpable rage without lashing out at me. His voice was stern and I quietly nodded. I understand. Once Hijikata was convinced of my understanding, he probed more questions. Yes, sir. He had gorgeous hair, brilliant green eyes, and I didn't ask him for his name. I don't know, it all happened so fast. Yes, sir. He curtly muttered and left me in the last thought. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. I'd forgotten that I accomplished nothing I wanted to today. We rushed back to base. Once back at headquarters, we discovered that the sighting of my father at the Tirada Inn was false, crushing the slither of happiness I had held on to. Oh shit, there we go. We're on the next chapter. This is the shit I'm used to, with the chapter card thingy. Also, I don't know. We didn't pick a man, so fuck if I know. Alright. Here. Okay. Hold. Oh god, I actually put on fast forward. I just want to save. Let me save. Why can't I save anymore? There we go. Okay, we're gonna pause here. Because it said we were starting chapter 2. So we're gonna pause here. And let's save. Here. Yes. Okay. Woo! Okay, so the mysterious samurai knows about you, but you don't know about him. Exactly. Apparently he knew who I was, but I didn't know him. I just really like what do you mean you didn't ask his name? I was like, I was so distracted by how pretty he was. I'm so sorry. Because you kind of think, you worthless little shit. I'm like, yeah, but you love me. Plenty of progress this time. Yeah, I know when we read the other Hakuoki book, there were times where we could do one or two, like 2 chapters sometimes in one session because they were so short. I knew the prologue was a little longer. It is weird though, because at one point, because that said beginning of chapter 2, which means at some point we switched to chapter 1 and the game didn't tell us. So that's on me. But whatever. We got through the prologue in chapter 1. That's awesome. Sorry. What do you mean you didn't get his name? Sorry, I was imagining some other things. Yeah. Sorry, boss. Oh, this is good. This is fun. Like making him a dress. Yeah. Making him a dress. That's what I was imagining doing. Okay. So yeah, we'll continue this next week for our visual novel book club Sunday meeting. This is good. This is good. I don't remember a lot of these characters. They weren't in the second book. That one's fresher in my mind, of course, because we read that, like, I don't know, like a month or two ago. So yeah, I don't know what we're doing tomorrow. Oh, it might be Monster Hunter, actually. Monster Hunter Monday. We'll play some Monster Hunter. But after that, I'm not quite sure. Schedule will be going up sometime today. Be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, nothing else really to report to you, little lamb chops. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or nights, whatever it is. I wish you good night, lamb chops. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Okay? Bye-bye.